This week on What Did You See at WCSSRG, we're covering four things. What did Dwarkesh and Jensen go over in their interview? Data center evicts 28 people in Kentucky. The FDA issues a 483 on the inappropriate usage of AI. And a robot wins a half marathon and beats the human record by 7 minutes. This is Matt with WCSSRG. This is the week of April 20th. I'm going to try to one-shot this. That's my goal. And go over all four of these in the lowest tech possible. All right. Dwarkesh Patel and Jensen Huang had an interview this week. One of the key spicy points of that discussion was Jensen's view on export controls over his chips. He didn't seem to think that there was any issue with exporting his NVIDIA chips over to other nations that may or may not turn these things into weaponized AI. The analog that was given by Dwarkesh was one that kind of paralleled a lot of what we've seen earlier or elsewhere in technology, either information technology or otherwise, in that we don't really want to give foreign states technologies that can then be in turn converted into something that could be used against us in the future. Jensen really didn't see it that way. I kind of do. I mean, I remember seeing the legacy export controls over things like cryptography impact me at work when I was at Sun Microsystems on not being able to send data to Ireland using higher than, I'm probably wrong, but 40-bit encryption, right? That subsequently changed as the laws got less restrictive. But these things are in place for a reason. So, I think Jensen got it wrong. But I don't know. Let me know what you think on that. So a data center had AI data center is evicting 28 people in Kentucky. Okay, so what does this really mean? Really, this is the next step beyond AI took our jobs and now AI's taken our houses. I mean, yes and no, right? So what we're seeing here is an opportunistic move by the person or people who owned the real estate underneath, and I believe this was a mobile home park, to sell it to a developer to then in turn put an AI data center or a data center on top of it. Now, I haven't looked into the specifics of where this is located within Kentucky, but one can probably rationalize that it's close to some place where power is cheap or power plants can be built where power can be generated cheaply. I think we're going to see more of this. So, maybe invest into mobile home parks that are close to places where you can buy cheap power. All right. FDA issues a 483 for the inappropriate usage of artificial intelligence. And man, LinkedIn was going crazy over this. All of the people who were, coming out of the woodwork that used to, beat the drum on Part 11 are now beating the drum on, hey, look at this. FDA issued a 483. If you don't know what a 483 is, I'm not going to explain it here. Go look it up. If you messed up at work and the FDA finds out, you're going to get a 483. This is kind of one of those notifications. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to explain it. I'm not. So in there, it kind of went through and said, hey, you used AI to help you out with this, and you used AI to help you out with that, and you probably shouldn't have. And all of the consultants all over LinkedIn are going crazy over this because, hey, look, the FDA finally gave some guidance or finally issued a citation on artificial intelligence. Well, when you lift up the lid a little bit and take a look at who they issued this to, it was a small organization, maybe 3 people that were operating in a 10,000 square foot workshop or warehouse. Look, and more power to that company, but I'm guessing that if you got a small mom and pop shop, you're probably making other mistakes beyond the usage of artificial intelligence, right? So, when I look at this, I look and say, gosh, yeah, they picked a cheap and easy, possibly free way to get some advice, and it came back and bit them in the rear end on that one. So, yeah, everybody's going nuts over it, but no, I really wouldn't take this as the FDA is going to come in and find this type of same issue with your organization if you're using AI, unless you're making the freshman level mistakes that this organization made. Finally, robot wins a half marathon in China, and it beats the human record by 7 minutes. So saw this. I thought, my God, those poor human people watching this robot run. Well, no, it was about, I think about 300 or other bipedal robots that were running a half marathon race, right? So really looked like it was an exercise in duration and longevity and robustness in terms of the different organizations that entered in the bipedal robots to compete here and really demonstrate what capabilities are, possibly with future development and implementation where these types of robots may come in handy, right? So anything where a human assist could be leveraged in a warehouse and delivery or elsewhere. Um, my opinion on this is we invented wheels a long time ago, and that seemed to work out pretty good. And I'm pretty sure that on a bicycle, I could probably beat the human record on a half marathon. Maybe not me in my shape, but just generally speaking, my position on bipedal robots is unless you absolutely have to implement something that's human centric first, then you should probably implement something that's robot centric first and cheaper to design and cheaper to maintain and cheaper to recover from when there's failure modes. Otherwise, you're kind of asking for a tremendous amount of maintenance, of oversight and care in an environment that has unnecessary complexity. So advice here really is to, if you're looking to redesign or implement any sort of human augmentation, maybe consider if whether or not the working environment that you have absolutely needs to be human friendly or robot friendly. And what do I mean by that? In a robot friendly environment, we want to make sure that the robots can get around and do what they need to do, and we're not making any changes because the humans have the dominant position in the working environment. And a human-friendly environment might be something where it was designed specifically for the robots to come in and do the work in a manner that is most beneficial from a robotics perspective, but a human can get around and navigate towards or navigate through. So I may flip-flop that in the future when I go back and rewatch this, but that's where I'm at. So that's this week, and what did you see at WCSSRG? I'm curious to know what I should cover next week and what you thought. Leave a comment. Thanks. Bye.